expectations of a giant increase in Thanksgiving travel this year and fears that there will be chaos at airports. AAA is predicting that more than 53 million people will be driving, boarding a train or bus, or, yes, flying this holiday. And air travel is expected to be up 80% compared to last year, returning to near pre-pandemic levels. All of it comes at a difficult time for the industry. Airline industry employees are not where they need to be. There are widespread staff shortages, and all federal employees, which includes TSA staff, must be fully vaccinated by next Monday. As of last month, 40% of TSA employees were not vaccinated or had not submitted their vaccination status. So we're joined now by TSA Administrator David Pekoske, who oversees security at nearly 440 airports in this fine country. He joins us now from LaGuardia Airport, where I am certain he did not have trouble with TSA. Good morning, Mr. Administrator. Let's start with the big picture. People are going to be flocking to airports in the next couple of weeks. What should they expect?
Well, they should expect that they will, we will meet our throughput standards. I mean, if they're a standard lane passenger, it's going to take about 30 minutes. If they're a pre-check passenger, 10 minutes or less. And I don't think they should expect chaos. We work very closely with the airlines, with the airports. We have travel projections for the coming week, and we're very confident that this is going to be a very smooth operation over the next several days.
I'm glad to hear you're confident. The reason people were wondering if maybe it was going to be a problem is the mandate requiring vaccination among federal employees, and it seemed like a big number of your employees were not there yet. Has the number shifted? What's going on there?
Oh, the numbers improved greatly, and I don't expect the vaccine mandate to have any impact whatsoever on Thanksgiving travel. And the good news for travelers is that more and more people, including TSA employees, are now vaccinated. So from a public health perspective, it's a much safer experience.
Will employees, your TSA employees, lose their job if they're not vaccinated?
Well, we will go through a progressive discipline process with our employees who have not been vaccinated, but we have a lot of employees who've asked for either medical or religious exemptions as well. And so we'll go through the process of looking at each one of those individual cases and making a determination over the next several weeks. Yes, there is the potential, if you do not have an approved exemption and you are not vaccinated, that you will lose your job, because it's very important that we have our workforce fully vaccinated.
You know, another issue is, and it's a very disturbing issue, scary, I think, the outburst of passion of unruly passengers. It's actually gotten very physical and very, very dangerous. How is it affecting you and your team, and what are you guys doing about that?
No, you're right. I mean, you know, the level of unruly passengers has gotten very high. And you know, I've been the TSA administrator for a little over 4 years. I have never seen it at these levels. What we're doing about it is we're working very closely with the carriers, the flight attendants, the flight deck crews, the airports, and the FAA to do everything that we can to message how dangerous this behavior is, what the penalties are if you engage in it. And we're also working hard with flight attendants to provide self-defense training and de-escalation training for them. And I would just say at this point that, you know, really when I look at this and I see these incidents occurring, the flight attendants deserve enormous credit for a very hard job to begin with, and then what they're dealing with now in the air. I mean, it seems like nearly every day there's a level of an in-flight disturbance that gets beyond a verbal argument and gets into some level of physical contact, which is something, like I said, that we hadn't seen in the past, certainly not in my experience as the administrator.
David, I want to stick with those unruly passengers for a second, whether it's before, during, or even after the flight. You know, as a parent, the knee-jerk reaction is to get involved. I'm traveling with my kids or my wife, and sometimes these workers seem a little bit overwhelmed. What would be your advice to somebody that is sitting back, watching something going on, and thinking to themselves, I should get involved because the people working might need help?
Well, I think the best advice I could give is to try to de-escalate the situation. And that's part of the training that we provide. And if the flight attendant asks for assistance, then to provide them the assistance that they ask for. I mean, it's hard, particularly hard if there's more than one passenger involved in creating the disturbance. And oftentimes we see that. Sometimes it's two passengers sitting next to each other, or a passenger in front of another that reclines the seat, for example. So things that in the past were minor issues seem to be much more significant issues to cause, a physical confrontation when it didn't happen that way in the past generally.
with these flights increasing and holiday travel going up, this information is valuable. David Pekoske, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us this morning.